YouTube. All right, we're back to, I think this is part 4 of our Mazda build. We're gonna go ahead and install the cylinder head at this point, now that we've got the bottom end built, put together. A couple tips here in doing this. First thing you want to do is turn your pistons so that your number one piston here is at top dead center, okay? And you can feel it when it rises up to top dead center. Obviously this is bottom, but you want this at top dead. And later on when you install the timing chain, you'll understand why that is so important. Okay, and you can feel it right when it tops out. All right, so you'll notice the surface is clean. These pistons have been cleaned. You want a clean, flat, level surface. If you have a question as to whether your surface is level, put you a flat edge on there and make sure that it's level. If it's not level, send it to your machine shop. Have your machine shop level this surface for you. Next thing we'll do is install the head gasket. Always using a new head gasket. If you ever have to take the cylinder head off, it's a lot of work to take that head off, and for the cost of the gasket, you may as well use a new one. And that basically installs very easily. You sit it down like so. Once you place the cylinder head on this and torque it down, this will form a very tight barrier between the bottom half of the block and the top half of the motor, which is the cylinder head. The cylinder head will need to be torqued down in 5 different passes. You'll notice the sequence. And then you'll also notice the tightening sequence, the tightening procedure. Cylinder head has been leveled. There have been valves replaced in this particular head. There were some valves that were bent and burnt, and so the machine shop went ahead and replaced those particular valves that were damaged beyond repair. The ones that could be repaired, of course, they were machined and repaired. Also, this particular head has hydraulic lifters, which are under here, and it also has these little bitty disc pucks, which have to be measured and put in the proper spaces so that the valves will work properly. Adjusted, rather, that's the word I was looking for. I have the machine shop do the adjustment to the valves as well as the actual valve job itself. That way it's one complete job. When I get the head back, I'll install this head and torque it down, and then we'll go through and we'll torque down our camshafts. Right now your camshafts aren't torqued down because you have to get in there to get the head bolts on this particular unit, but you need your camshafts temporarily installed to hold your valve job in place. When installing your cylinder head, I'm going to pick it up, and this thing is quite heavy. You want to install it, line it up on your 2 pins here. Moving it, you don't want to slide it across. You want to pick it up and move it if you have to. You need to find the tabs. Once you find the tabs, it'll drop in place. Like so. Now I'll remove these camshafts, install the head bolts. Last tip before we go in this segment. These engines use torque to yield bolts for the head bolts. The sequence that I showed you earlier shows how they're stretched. Well, basically that stretches the bolt when you follow that sequence. All right, so what you want to do, have you some new head bolts handy for this particular job. If you don't use new head bolts, you're asking for failure. No. You want to apply a light coat of oil to these threads, very light. These are actually pre-lubed, some of them. I like to run them around each other like that to rub the oil off. You don't want to put a thick coat on here at all. You just want just a little bit of lubrication. This particular one takes a star socket, as you can see. So, we'll remove these camshafts, install these head bolts, torque this head down. Again, I can't emphasize how important it is to use new head bolts when doing this type of work. Till next time, if you have any comments, post, subscribe. Have a great day.